Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome back to Grade 7 French. We're now into our 5th unit of the year. This is Unité 5. And for this unit, we have 2 grammar / parts of speech lessons to get through. In this first lesson, we are going to look at les adjectifs irréguliers. Now, before I continue, there are 2 things which you'll need to have close by as you're watching this video. First, it would be great if you had a camera, a digital camera that is, or a cell phone, something which you can use to take a picture of one of the slides that is coming up in this video. It'll just really helpful to have an image of that slide beside you as you're working on a couple of the activities in the second half of this video. Also, it's very important that you have a French-English dictionary close by, because you are going to have to look up a number of adjectives, not just to find out their meaning, but also to find out their gender, whether they're masculine or feminine adjectives. So if you need, put the video on pause so that you can get those 2 items, and then when you're ready, hit play. In previous French classes, you learned that adjectives need to be written in the masculine or feminine form, depending on whether the noun is masculine or feminine. In French, most adjectives can be made feminine by adding an E. Also, most adjectives can be made plural by adding an S or ES for feminine plural form. However, there are some adjectives that cannot be changed simply by adding an E or an S. These are known as les adjectifs irréguliers, irregular adjectives. These adjectives follow different sets of rules. Fortunately, there are some patterns which we can see when writing the feminine and plural forms of les adjectifs irréguliers. The next slide contains a chart which shows how to work with these adjectives. Now, I'm going to ask that you get your mobile devices ready. I'll just move a couple of these boxes out of the way, and then I'm going to explain what you're going to do. Now, this is a partial list of les adjectifs irréguliers. We're going to fill a longer chart in tomorrow's class, but I've taken a number of irregular adjectives. I filled out this chart here. Okay, there are 4 columns. Okay, first we've got bizarre, which means bizarre. This is how bizarre looks in the masculine singular form. Okay, for the feminine singular form, there's actually no change at all, because bizarre already ended with an E. And then for both the masculine and the feminine, we just have to add an S at the end. Okay, and the word triste follows the same pattern. However, when we get to bon, which means good, bon needs to have a second N, then an E to change it from masculine to feminine. And then when switching to plural, we just put S at the end. Okay, so you'll notice that there are other irregular adjectives that follow the same pattern, but when we get to aventureux, adventurous, when we change it from masculine to feminine, all of a sudden the X changes to SE. And then for the masculine plural, it actually looks the same as the masculine singular. Whereas for a feminine plural, it looks like feminine singular just with an S. So what I want you guys to do, put this video on pause so that you can take a picture of this chart, because it will help you as you move on in the coming slides. So put the video on pause now and get a quick picture. All right, I think that's enough time. Let's continue. All right, so now we're going to practice. For each sentence on this slide and the next slide, you're going to choose the correct form of the adjective. Okay, and I've given you 2 or 3 choices in the brackets. Now, this is where you're really going to need to have a French-English dictionary to check whether the noun is masculine or feminine. So looking at this first example, les auroras boreales sont très, I've got belle et beau. What that translates to is the aurora borealis, or the northern lights, are very, and I need to choose whether to use belle or beau, meaning beautiful. Okay, so just setting up a pen here. Okay, the noun is aurora boreal. So I would look that up in my French-English dictionary, and what I would find is that aurora boreal is feminine. So that would mean that the correct form of the adjective is belle. Okay, let's try one more. Let's look at deux. En montagne, la neige est, I've got blanc or blanche. On the mountain, the snow is white. Now here, I'm not actually talking about the mountain. I'm actually talking about la neige, the snow. Okay, now I could use a French-English dictionary, but here I've got la. Now the la means feminine. So neige is feminine, so that means I would choose blanche. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put the video on pause so that you can try these next 2 questions. We'll take them up in tomorrow's class. And then once you're done writing down your answers to 3 et 4, hit play and we'll move on to another slide. Now let's continue. Okay, so I've given you 6 more problems. You're going to do the same thing. So make sure that you've got the picture of the irregular adjectives chart handy. Make sure that you've still got your French-English dictionary at your side, and put the video on pause so that you can complete these 6 questions. All right, let's continue. Okay, for these sentences, you're going to choose the correct adjective, and you have to make sure to also select the correct form of the adjective. So let me just switch back to select mode because I'll do the first one with you. We have Paris est une ville d'un grand but. C'est une très blank ville. Okay, so Paris is a city of great beauty. It is a very blank city. So un is my hint that I'm going to look for the feminine form of an adjective which is in this word box. The one that makes the most sense is belle. So I would just put belle in the blank. So what you guys are going to do, you're still going to want to have your picture of your irregular adjectives chart, and you're still going to have your French-English dictionary. I want you to put the video on pause so that you can work on these remaining 4 questions. Please hit pause right now. All right, and we will take up this activity as well in tomorrow's class. But until then, this concludes today's video.